Ema Gedola Chashecha, Ema Chashecha Gedola, a very dark um, fright fell on Abraham. I believe he saw each one of the 11 people, as up to now, up to the 11 people in Pittsburgh who were shot, who were killed. Okay, and before that, the Ari Fuld in Israel, and
6 million. Where?
what's the name was yeah, the other two that were
Sure,
killed
whatever.
recently. Yes, and that too. I believe he saw each one of them. And yes, Rudy, he could have walked away. He could have said, "You know what? It's not for me. I don't want this. I don't want to get involved." He really could have walked away.
I don't think so.
And this is the same thing when Hashem picked Aaron, and Aaron was there. He was embarrassed. He put on the clothes. They did the stuff. Nothing happened. And then the cloud came, and his two sons died. Nadav and Avi were great people. They were great leaders, and the Torah says, "Vayidom Aaron." Aaron was silent. What does it mean he was silent?
Because he knew.
He could have walked away. He could have said, "You know what? This is not for me.
Right.
Take off the clothes. Pick another Kohen. I can't live with this." There is even an opinion that the tribe of Levi had a small population in the desert where the numbers are given. There are two reasons for it. One reason is that the Torah says that the more the Jewish people were harassed and made to suffer, the more their numbers exploded. The tribe of Levi didn't work, so their numbers didn't explode like the others. The other explanation is that they carried the Aron, and if they weren't worthy, so they died.
They died. Yeah.
And other people went to carry, and they died. So because of that, it wasn't 5 or 6. It was such a large amount that it affected the bottom line. It affected their overall population. So Aaron could have said, "This is not for me. I don't want to get involved. Choose another Kohen." Vayidom Aaron. Aaron was silent. And that's 2. And who's the third? Who could have walked away?
It's my duty to tell a joke sent by the going friends of mine. Hashem tells Abraham, "I'll make you the leader of a nation. What's gonna cost me?"
Wait, does this have the
Nothing.
hokey pokey again?
No,
Okay.
it's close. Nothing. It's cost you nothing. You'll have to work 6 days, and one day you have to rest. You won't be able to smoke on that day. Tells all the details. Like, man, what else you want? You want me to cut the tip off? Oh, I didn't think of that. All right, it's a
Okay.
long text. But it was my duty to tell you.
Okay.
Now, that
You're on
Avihu-
tape for that, you know.
now that Avihu, for me, it was very important because I have a big ego, and I read a paper from the journals, and I go, "What do they know?" Correct?
From the
Smart
journals?
aleck. Yeah, journal, like chemistry, whatever. And I do it my way, and then 2 years later, I said, "Oh, that's why they did it that way." So now Avihu offered their strange fire or whatever. So they're doing their own recipe,
Yes,
which is what I.
what you did.
So
But
for
you're still here.
For me, it's a good lesson. So it's, if that's the recipe, and even better if I can't see why they're doing it. Maybe it's just
Just
follow the recipe, and so keeping kosher and all things that I
Yeah.
have to do.
Good.
Irrational, sometimes. It's very important for me. It's educating this big ego that said, "What do they know?" And then I pay for it.
Okay.
So
Here's an
So
example.
so the Aaron could have walked away. It was a choice. And who else? There was another one. Moshe was ready to walk away. He was arguing with Hashem a few
Many
times. Huh? Yeah.
Many times.
But who can walk away from
Hashem wanted to
who?
walk away.
Yeah.
Show,
And
Yeah,
Moshe
let's
talked him back
let's
into
start
it.
again.
But who can?
But he didn't.
Yeah. But
So the thing is, so my point is that is the choice, and they could have done it. Technically, they could have walked away. Avram could have said, "Hashem, it's not for me. You find somebody else." And Aaron could have said, Hashem, it's not for me.
Fine.
Moshe, it's not for me. Pick a different Kohen. I already lost 2. That's enough. And anyone else at other times. But they don't. Just like today, after the Tree of Life, we don't say, you know what, that's it. I'm not coming to Shul anymore. Okay, we don't say that. We had
But we could.
the Hebron riots in 1929. It's where I heard this idea. Rabbi Slonim came back. He lost his son, daughter-in-law. Came back the next year. He says we need to get revenge. You hear that, Jim? We need to get revenge. Jewish revenge.
Good.
You know what's Jewish revenge?
Yeah.
Another yeshiva.
Yeah.
Another shul.
Yeah. I get it.
Move in the neighborhood.
Hmm?
You move in. You move into the
Over there,
neighborhood.
when there should be a new settlement now for every time.
Yeah.
They should build a new settlement.
I agree.
Yeah, but anyways, but he didn't say that. He said a new. So we don't walk away, but technically we do, and some people did, right, Rudy?
Mm-hmm.
Many people said, "That's it, I'm done with this.
Well,
I can't believe after what I saw."
A lot of people, that's our biggest problem. A lot of us do walk away, okay, and that is what assimilation is all about. That's walking away. It's not choosing to say yes. If the choice is if you by choosing you're just saying to say yes to that which is Hashem's will, that I understand. You can do that or not do that. But quite frankly, once you're in the position where you're really where you're feeling Hashem's presence like this, I'm not so sure you can walk away. And I'm just pointing.
They
that
did. They made the night. They made the golden calf.
But yeah.
What you're saying is a responsible person and someone who gets it is not going to walk away. Fine,
That's
but
all
it
I'm saying.
is
Or
a choice. Do you have a choice? Do you have a choice to take the red light?
Do I have a choice? Intellectually, I have a choice.
You have a choice.
Intellectually, I
Okay,
have a
you're not
choice.
going to do it.
But how could I ever do anything like that?
Right. But you
here's-
do
here's
have a choice.
Here's another different analogy.
It's not really a choice. It's totally it's to not be true to what I am and what I believe and everything else. I suppose I could be really self-destructive and choose to do that. I mean, I could be, but actually, I'm not sure how much that's a choice.
But we call that that is a choice.
I mean,
You may have very strong reasons or whatever that compel you this or that or that way, but that's a choice, and they had choices, and we have choices. Having a choice is a basic tenet of Judaism.
I understand punishment and reward, but sometimes the action in and of itself, the mitzvah itself, or the good deed itself, is its own reward. You don't think about the merits you're going to get necessarily, and when you
Going to wind up in a certain path. That's predestined what we're supposed to be doing. But it's almost like we're in a maze where all paths for that person will lead to where we're supposed to be. But along the way, we have different choices we can take. They'll all wind up there. At the end, you're not going to come to an area where you're blocked. You're not going to go anywhere. The maze is such that you're always going to get there, but you have different turns to take. Do I go right? Which way are you going to go? That's your free choice. What you're going to wind up doing in the big picture is going to be what it's going to be. How you get there is the free choice we have. We're going to get there where we're supposed to be.
Not if you screw up. Then you have to come back and try it all over.
yeah,
No,
Well,
no.
I know what he's thinking. He's thinking about the penalty for tilt.
Start over again. That's
You're
starting
right,
over
right.
again. That's so.
I hear what you're saying, Chaim, but after almost 5 years, it's still, sorry, it's free. I'd stick to my guns. Free will is overrated.
So there is what you're seeing.
Free will is overrated.
What you're seeing is that there's a lot of destiny. After
Yes.
reading this, are you
Yes.
saying that after reading this and you're saying that, gee, Moshe and Korach are restaging or reenacting
Yes.
the conflict
Yes.
between Cain and Hevel.
Yes.
And Moshe didn't ask to be Hevel's reincarnation.
Correct.
And now he's here finding the same protagonist. He's stuck in the pinball game.
But he's growing. He's
He's what?
rectifying. He's growing and rectifying. And if that you want to call a choice, okay. I call it something closer to being towards your essence. But it is what it is, however you want to call it.
There's an interesting story which might bolster your point, but it's a very interesting story. There was a someone in the shtetl who went in one night. He went into the church and he smashed the idols there. And the police caught him, a Jewish guy. So police caught him, and they executed him. So his wife went to the council. They had a fund for widows, and she went to claim her share. And they said, "This is for people who die. Your husband basically committed suicide." Who asked him to go in and what did I say?
Smash the idols.
Okay, and smash the icons.
The icons.
The icons in the church there.
Same thing.
Huh?
Same thing.
So they had the statues, the icons. So she pressed her claim. And they ended up taking it to the rabbi in the nearby town. I don't remember who the rabbi was. It was a famous, I think, Hasidic rabbi, before Hasidic rabbi. And he found the case to be very confounding and complicated. And he said he needed time to think about it. I think there was something that was bothering him about it. If I'm not mistaken, Eliyahu Navi somehow comes into the story, but I don't remember how. But the rabbi had a dream, and King Menashe appeared to him. King Menashe was an old king of Israel. Mm-hmm. The father of King Chizkiah, who was very righteous. Very the son. Menashe was the son of Chizkiah. Menashe was a very wicked king. And he said that this Jewish man was his reincarnation, was his Gilgal. And that this man felt compelled to rectify from Menashe. And that's what drove him.
Oh.
And the rabbi ended up ruling in favor of the widow. He understood differently.
Where Menashe had put up the idol, he tore them down.
So he felt compelled to go and smash them.
Very nice.
And because of that was enough for the rabbi to rule in favor. I was thinking, so what? The rabbi technically, I was thinking about the story. The rabbi could have said, okay, but still, you're still not entitled. The rabbi ruled in her favor for this. So we have our Gilgal, and you know what I'm thinking? Like, we've got thousands of years on our slate. Our file is this thick, right? 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, it's in a very thin file. Only a few, maybe a few kilobytes, and now we got gigs and gigs of terabytes on our file. Can you imagine, so so who knows what we do, what's connected with doesn't have to be. It could be something 10 years before you were born, it could be something 200 years before you were born, or 500 years before you were born, and that we're
all going to catch up with you.
Well, isn't that the moral of what we just learned? That basically things have to be settled. There has to be a balance.
Scores have to be settled.
Exactly.
Right.
It may not be a year, a couple of generations,
Several
generations afterwards.
Yeah, it could be generations. And there's also a story, which very short.
Day.
Groundhog.
What?
What?
Hey,
Groundhog Day, the guy
No,
keeps
not
waking up the same day
Groundhog.
until
No,
he gets it right.
yeah. This is our question.
So next
Where,
reincarnation.
where do you? Where do you?
No, it's
I don't know
just,
how your mind works.
you
at times.
reincarnate and you try to rectify.
That's not reincarnation. That's just.
I read.
dumb.
Well,
I've read in books, and they keep referring to Groundhog Day. They say if you don't take care of the problem, you're gonna end up in Groundhog Day. I'm like, what's Groundhog Day?
Every day's the
Gotcha.
same day.
Okay, so I mean, you think, but they keep referring to it. It's like
Yeah, you don't know what it.
Until you fix it,
yeah.
which has some merit to what he's
so. No, there was another story about people who were sent down and to fix it. That there was like one incident after a whole life. You know what? You don't think, okay, my whole life revived around that time that I was 19 and a half, or around the time that I was 38, right? And on this time when I visited, you know, the museum and randomly, you don't think like that. But there's another story about two people, and something happened, and they decide they're going to come back down to earth and have a chance to rectify, to fix, and just one day a chance meeting. So there's a story with the Baal Shem Tov, and the guy bombed. He came back.
And blew it.
He blew it exactly.
all right. So go again.
I don't know if you told this story.
What
It
choices
was,
did you get?
Go again. Well, you got a lot.
Yeah.
You get a lot.
I forget how the story goes, but there is how you call it? What's the politically correct?
Politically correct.
Yeah.
Challenged.
Mentally
What?
challenged.
Down syndrome kid.
Mentally challenged. Yes.
So the point is that by being Down syndrome, he wouldn't seen, and some other Hasid comes to the town, and the whole purpose of this kid's life was to do this one mitzvah.
Yes.
Right.
So
The kid was comatose in bed, never moved, and then he got up and he ruled.
the chicken was.
He
kosher,
ruled the
something
chicken
like
was
that.
kosher,
That's it. So
and then he went back to sleep and he died.
correct. So I always bring the Eastern perspective that. But Tanya kills me because it says that our godly soul is perfect. We're not here to improve any of that because that's perfect. So we're refining the animalistic soul or
The
rectifying
We're
previous.
refining
The animal soul and our environment.
Yeah, both the animal soul and whatever's around us.
Basi
That's the
Lugani, he
environment.
says two. Basi Lugani, I think, says two things.
Yeah, they're both.
Animal soul and
We're
your
here to
refine
redeem the
your
sparks,
character.
redeem the sparks,
Yeah, to
change,
go on.
refine the
Malchus
world.
Shin Daled Yud. Yeah.
I was
Both.
was giving a review today, and I go into my own little world in the computer. So I was looking for dreams. So it said that the emotions, the amygdala and the hippocampus and
Hippocampus.
prefrontal cortex. So the emotions were there. It's like, being Chochma Bina, Keter Chochma Bina. So the emotions are not quite here, like in my imagination, but they are still there.
Well, they're there, but the Chassidus explains it here.
In
But
the Eastern as well.
Okay.
It's green, that's why.
It's yellow now.
Yes.
Just
So,
red.
It's red.
We'll
Okay.
fix it with this next time.
Can we go on?
You want hookahs?
Oh.
Red cow.
Do you want-
All
Or
right.
is it red? Or is it Red Bull?
Oh, it's what,
Oh,
25
it's a
till?
hay-
8:35. You want to do 10 minutes?
Yeah, 10 minutes.
Okay.
So it is a cow.
Huh?
It is a cow.
No.
Oh, the Red Bull.
It's a Red Bull. Get it?
Yeah,
Get it?
it's
Come
not
on.
Red
No,
Bull.
it's a rat. One of the mice.
Ooh, numbers
Ooh, lots of numbers, big charts. That's the biggest chart I've seen yet
What?
lately.
in this section.
Oh, it's the biggest of the book.
Jim,
5 strengths of the red cow.
765.
Let's see, charts.
So Hashem spoke to Moshe and Aaron, saying, "This is the statute of the Torah, which Hashem spoke, saying, Speak to the children of Israel that they take for you a pure, unblemished red heifer, which has never worn a yoke, and give it to Eleazar the priest. He will take it outside the camp, and someone will slaughter it before him. Eleazar the priest will take some of its blood on his finger and sprinkle it toward the opening of the tent of meeting 7 times. Someone will burn the heifer in front of him. He will burn its hide, its flesh, its blood, and its innards. This is the commandment to take the red heifer. The ashes of the red heifer are used to purify a person from the impurity of death. Death, we have noted before, is spiritually a falling from one state of divine consciousness to a lower one, or to a lack of one. Thus, the commandment of the red heifer contains within it the mystical explanation of evil and the purification from defilement of evil, death, that is, loss of divine consciousness. Know that the 5 final forms of the letters signify the 5 states of Gevurah.
That means the final letters, the final Chaf, final Mem, final Nun, final Pei, and final Tzadik. And there's a lot in Kabbalah about those 5.
Okay? Their combined numerical value is 280. When we add 5 for the 5 letters themselves, we have 285, which is the numerical value of heifer.
Para, cow.
5 letters of the Hebrew alphabet have different forms that they assume at the end of a word. Since these final forms signal a pause in the flow of reading, they signify the 5 states of severity, Gevurah, or restraint. The letters with their numerical values are Mem 40, Nun 50, Tzadik 90, Pei 80, Chaf 20. 40 plus 50 plus 90 plus 80 plus 20 is 280. Heifer, Para, Pei, Resh, Hey, 80 plus 200 plus 5, 285. Alternatively, the extra Hey, whose numerical value is 5, needed to equal the numerical value of heifer, signifies the 5 states of Gevurah descend to Bina, which is referred to by the first Hey of the name Chavaya, or descend to Malchut, which is referred to by the second Hey of the name Chavaya. Therefore, the heifer is called Para, the cow par of the hay.
Par is a
For cow.
cow,
Cow.
and para is par is a bull and para is a cow.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The
It's
first,
just the female form.
the first 2 letters of the word for heifer, para, are simply the male or generic word for cow, par.
So we can say it's para is par hay. It's a cow or a bull with the 5 with the letter hey from Hashem's name.
Okay, that'll do.
I think either way, it's all by divine providence.
Well, certainly the red heifer is.
All right.
Okay. We don't do a whole lot, but take in the waters. Anyway, the heifer must be red because the 5 states of Gevurah is drawn from Bina, which is red. Red is the color of blood, which is usually associated with Gevurah, or the source of Gevurah, which is Bina. Therefore, the word for red is written without the expected vav, so that its numerical value be 50, referring to the 50 gates of Bina, from which severe judgments enter. That's from Zohar. It's Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah, we had it in our Rosh Hashanah class
Rosh Hashanah.
very recently.
And that's from Zohar.
No, Rosh Hashanah.
Oh, the 50 gates of Bina.
Stop. There's 2 things.
2 things.
The 50 gates of Bina
Is
is from Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah, the judgment piece.
Bottom,
is,
lower right side of the page.
severe judgments is
It's
from
from
Zohar.
Yeah.
So the 50 gates is from Rosh. The severe judgments is Zohar. Okay. All right.
So 50 stands for Bina,
Yeah.
which stands for red,
Yeah.
which is Aduma Aleph Dalad Mem Hey, 50.
Yeah.
Gersh, you want to continue? 766 at the bottom.
True. When the spiritual flow signified by the red heifer is still within the realm of holiness, it is pure, possessing no blemish. But when it proceeds farther into the realm of evil, the root of the impurity of inherent states of judgment is revealed. As we have explained previously, judgment is a necessary component of the process of transmission of divine beneficence. But when it is exercised outside its proper context, judgment adds strength to the powers of evil.
Huh? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess
What causes these evil states of judgment is the fact that they, Zerampin and Nukba, were not facing each other.
Oh, here we
Back
go.
to
again.
back.
Therefore
Here we
occurred
go back to back.
the breaking of the vessels. Oh, yeah. Signified by the kings of the land of Edom, who died, producing the powers of severe judgment.
Yeah.
In the world of Tohu, the precursors of the Parsufin of Tikkun are not facing each other, and therefore the inherent severity of the female principles cannot be mitigated by the male principles. Therefore, the Sephiros cannot tolerate each other. Each one insists on expressing its own content and identity without any admixture of the other Sephira. This judgmental attitude caused the vessels of Tohu to break, and the shattered remains of this world become the consciousness of evil in the subsequent worlds of Tikkun.
Shattered remains this world because of conscious of evil.
Yeah, we
Oh,
see
slow
that
down
before.
here. The judgmental attitude causes the vessel to break. Shattered remains
right.
of this world become the
No, I'm right.
conscious.
No, I'm right.
So that's how evil was created.
Selfishness,
No,
self-righteousness,
is that the process of how evil was created. What he just read.
apparently.
Each one
Apparently,
in exists and expressing his own an identity. What's the self absorbs total self without any admixture.
How did it wind up in the tree?
This judgmental attitude causes
Not
vessels.
the tree, but the how you call the serpent, the snake. The selfishness. Remember, Satan. Blah blah blah.
Well, Sam was right. Sam
Selfishness,
Sam was there.
Do not. You have the whole everything in the garden is yours except that tree over there.
But the
Yeah.
evil wasn't there.
The evil was in the tree.
But Hashem also sent Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
of course, I
and
understand.
so
it was a setup.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know how much of a choice that
We have
was.
free will.
He sent Sam
now, wait a second.
on that snake,
See,
boom.
here-
You know.
Here's the thing. It was Destiny's going to do it. How he went about doing it was the choice.
Yeah. Okay.
Did he listen to
I
him
get
then?
it.
To now? He's going to do it.
Yeah.
But when was he going to do it?
Yeah.
Deja
Go
vu.
ahead. You can run. Go ahead. You have that choice. Go ahead and run. Let's
Or
see what
stay,
happens.
or stay
Let's see
here.
what happens if you try to run.
Yeah.
That looks like a movie I saw recently. No, it's like you were saying, evil is necessary for the functioning of.
I have to. You have
The
to.
way
have evil.
things are in the
You have to,
physical.
otherwise, there'd be no ambition.
Yeah.
If we had no ambition, we wouldn't do things. Even
Well, I
pursue
don't have a
mitzvah.
problem.
No, if you wouldn't have ambition, you wouldn't even pursue a mitzvah.
You wouldn't do anything.
You wouldn't do anything. You'd be a lump.
Yeah.
You like me?
No, Chaim? You don't know?
what? That's true. No, that's true.
That's why you have to have it.
Oh, in Argentina, they're talking about the lumpenization.
What?
That's from Marx. The lumpen proletariat,
A proletariat?
which now makes him feel like a lump.
Hey, cut this, please.
Turn it off.